Welcome to The Last Word. He's Chris Pobst. I'm David Jenkins, and Chris, the SEMO Conference Tournament wrapped up. Went kind of as we thought it would go. We talked about it last week. We got 2 of the 3 games right. We missed the consolation game, but we're close. We were close.
Not bad.
Had you mattered, came at it, right off the bat and kind of giving it to them. But Sikeston rolled to the championship. Jackson helped them out by missing a few of their starters. But Sikeston still, I think. I think Sikeston still wins that tournament.
I think so too. I think it may have closed the gap a little bit, but this is Sikeston tournament to win, and they did what they needed to do, and they got rolling. I mean, it's what Sikeston does. They got on big tears, and 3-pointers are falling, and the crowd is going. And when you do that, I don't know any team around here that can stop them when they do that. Poplar Bluff, I think, was that dream matchup that we talked about, and they just with Mercedes Leach out, that kind of took a damper. And but it's kind of an anticlimactic ending to a somewhat kind of exciting tournament up until that point.
Yeah, extremely anticlimactic. By the second half of the championship game, the gym was half full, and it's I don't know. It was just very, like I said, anticlimactic. We had a feeling that may happen, but going in and just if you want your team, you want to beat a team at their full strength, and that wasn't the case for Jackson. I know that there were some internal issues going on there, and you hate that, but it is what it is. And Sikeston came out, they did what they were supposed to do, and took care of business. And you looked at the third place game, and which I thought was probably the best game of the night, but you had Charleston beating Poplar Bluff by 5, and anybody want to play Charleston right now? I don't think anybody wants to play Charleston right now.
No, other than Sikeston, that's the only team that owns a win over them. I wouldn't think you'd want to play Charleston right now, and they're getting it from everybody. And I don't think maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but I don't think Danny Farmer expected him to get the production he's getting from some of the players that he's getting it from. And Jaquavius Rogers comes to mind. He stepped up big in some situations for him. Latrell Porter was big in that game against Poplar Bluff, and Mardarion Clark has been that consistent scoring threat for them inside. And he's a guy that can do it on inside and outside, but they have the inside guys and the big guys, and they have the little guys doing their thing. And the defense, man, it's always the key with Charleston is just how well they can play defense, and this is another good defensive team.
I kept hearing coming into the season, well, Charleston may be pretty good if they can shoot the ball. They shoot it just fine to me. They may miss. They're not the Charleston of the last couple of years where they're just raining threes.
Yeah.
But this team can still score, and
sure.
They can score inside, outside, and like you said, they defend very well as Charleston typically does. And they're a tough team right now.
Absolutely.
And Poplar Bluff, they're obviously missing Leach. It seems like they're not gelling with him out. He'll be back soon enough, and they'll make a run for the regular season conference title.
They rolled over Kennett, and we're like, man, they're pretty good without Leach, and that's bad for everybody else. They're this good without him, and but we saw what Kennett was about after that game, and Kennett they got to get going. I don't know what's going on with them.
They just beat Malden.
They just beat Malden. That's a good win. Malden can't score though. I don't know. They can't. They can't score. They didn't score against Scott Central. They didn't score against Kennett. But hey, that's a win. A win's a win, and you'll take it every time. But yeah, we kind of. I kind of had expectations of okay, Poplar Bluff, you're doing this without Leach. You're looking pretty good here, but then we kind of find out what Kennett was all about that next game when Dexter did almost the exact same thing to him.
Yeah, and Kennett is not the Kennett we've seen the last few years. They're kind of trying to find themselves at the moment. In the consolation game, you had Notre Dame beating New Madrid, but not without some excitement at the end. New Madrid were way behind for most of the game and just made
27 points.
Made a huge charge and got within 4, I believe if I'm not
so,
mistaken. Yeah. And then Notre Dame pulled it out, but then New Madrid flipped it and avenged that loss on Tuesday night, and in another very good game down there. So those two teams matched up in a couple of good games.
Yeah, and New Madrid is going to be in just about any game that they're going to play in just because of the way that they play. And I know me and you both came off very impressed with how hard they played. And with the team that they have, they're going to have to be that. They're going to that's their edge this year. They're going to have that dog in them to kind of fight and claw some games out. And they're very Javarcus Word, he can score with the best of them. Typically he's going to lead them in scoring. Palmer Campbell, if I can talk, turned up with 19 points to them last night against Notre Dame, or Tuesday night against Notre Dame. So this is a team that they're going to have to continue to play hard if they're going to win some of these games, and they did that. And nice bounce back win after playing them just 4 days ago.
Here's my question: Is it time to start rotating the SEMO Conference tournaments two different schools, or do we just continue to stick it in Sikeston, who enjoys that home field advantage? Personally, on a personal note, I like just having to drive a couple miles down the road to go to the game.
Nice.
That's very nice for us.
Yes.
But if you're one of these other schools, Poplar Bluff or in Charleston, I mean, do you get tired of going to Sikeston, or is it fine there?
I don't think so. I think people enjoy playing there. It's the best place to play a high school basketball game around here. It to me, and just the atmosphere that it brings. It just no place else even rivals it. I don't think when it's in big games, and I haven't really heard too much of many other teams raise too much of an issue about it. They maybe have in the past, and it's mostly fans of other teams. Obviously, I know they want to play it at home, but I don't really know if anybody has made a big stink about it, like I said, as far as any other ADs or anything like that. But I like it there. I think it provides the best atmosphere for this conference tournament. It's unlike any other conference tournament in the state. It's held early. It's in one place. It's the Sikeston Invitational, but it's the conference tournament now.
And that's the thing that I think, I'm kind of like you. I'm fine with it being here, but at the same time, I'll play devil's advocate, and I think it's time to move it because, it does give Sikeston an unfair advantage. Sikeston plays much better at home than they do on the road, and that's very evident, by season after season. Most teams are that way. Yeah. And you've got gyms that can handle it and have a good atmosphere. We've seen great games being played at Dexter. I hate to say Cape Central because I despise that gym, but it's a gym that could hold it. Jackson has a gym that could hold it. Poplar Bluff has a new gym that could hold it. I mean, you have some other gyms in here. I mean, I'm sure they could raise a stink and get it. It could be in the conference bylaws. I know there's some conferences that have in their bylaws what schools get it and when and how. So,
but there's two schools that probably couldn't host it, and that's Notre Dame and Kennett.
Right, Notre Dame, Kennett.
What do you do there if you're rotating it to every school?
Pound sand, you're out. Pound sand, you're done. You're out.
You're out of the conference.
You're out. Well, no, not out of the conference. You just can't host.
Okay.
Get out.
Right. I think New Madrid. I think that'd be a good place.
New Madrid would be a good place. Right?
They have the upper. I don't know if they would be able to fill everybody. I would think that they'd be able to host everybody and get anybody in there.
Well, I mean, they're able to do the River Bend. I would think they'd be, but that's the thing with New Madrid. They just come off hosting that River Bend. I don't think they would want to be, flipping around and have to do another one just 2 weeks later.
Papa Bluff, they're hosting the conference, and they come around and host their Papa Bluff Showdown.
Right, and like I said, I'm just playing devil's advocate here because I'm like you. I think Sikeston is a good place, but I have heard a few rumblings here and there about it's always played at Sikeston. It gives them an advantage, blah blah blah, and it's just a nice little debate point that we could bring up and kind of talk about. But
I don't think Charleston's another place that couldn't hold it.
Charleston.
There's no way it could hold it, and that's a team that they don't care where it's played because they're behind Sikeston. They've won the most titles there, I kind of hold the mindset of Charleston. It doesn't matter who you play, no matter where it's at. Bring it. Let's go. And I like that about Charleston.
And one more quick thing on a devil's advocate. You talk about Charleston. Sometimes those Class 3 or sectional games and stuff are played like at Dexter or something. It would be, I'm sure they wouldn't mind, playing an extra game or two over there, to kind of get used to the surroundings too. So, but yeah, it's at Sikeston. And Sikeston does a great job hosting it. It's not like they don't accommodate the teams well or anything. I was just bringing up some stuff that we hear from time to time from some fans.
A nice 1B would be at Dexter. Dexter's an absolutely immaculate place to hold a basketball game, and I love big games there. And none was bigger than that Class 3 sectional between Charleston and New Madrid. It's a great atmosphere, but yeah, I think I'm okay either way. I like it at Sikeston. My personal, I think it's the best place to play it, but. Hey, if they want to start moving it, I'm all good there too.
Yeah, just keep it close. Just keep it close.
Exactly. If they decide to move it, where it's going, right?
It's going to Jackson, right?
I'd say it'd go to Jackson or Papa Bluff. So there you go.
Well, we got to keep it here. We got to campaign.
It's a nice central location for all the SEMO Conference schools.
It is.
You just got to go.
And I agree with you. I think Sikeston and Dexter are the two best places because it is centralized. I mean, you don't have Kennett having to drive all the way to Jackson, and you don't have
Jackson going all the way here.
Right. Right. I think that is the best. But it does. Sikeston's sitting here like, we'll take it.
I think they're okay with it.
And they used to have the Sikeston Invitational Tournament, which this became, and that was kind of what started all this. Is they wanted to improve that Sikeston Invitational, and they obviously did that. It's now the SEMO Conference Tournament, and
absolutely,
and it's a great tournament.
Best tournaments of the year, I think. This is a great way to start the season for sure.
Yeah, it is, and it kind of gives you a feel of what teams are or what and everything else. So one team that we haven't done a lot of talking about. They're not in the SEMO Conference. They're not. They're not in any really big conferences around here, but it's Saxony, and they're kind of floating around here. They're 5-0. They won again Tuesday night against North County, and they've got some good players, and their team it just kind of gets floats around under the radar. I know that we saw them last year at the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament, and I thought it's a pretty good basketball team they have over there.
There's a big talk about Saxony on the message boards on SEMO Bowl about how they're getting out of the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament. They weren't asked back, and that's fine. That's completely Bloomfield's call. But the fact that a lot of people think that it's good that they're out because they're a private school. They didn't do anything last year in the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament. They made a fifth place bracket or something. They lost. They didn't just come in and just dominate. They're a private school. They got good players. I know that, but let's just get off the whole thing. A lot of these private schools that the people are talking about, they don't do anything around. They're not what they used to. Notre Dame every now and then will put up a state contender team, and that's great, and I get it, and I get the hubbub about bringing in the players and whatever and whatnot. But talk about a team that's winning it year in and year out and year in and year. Talk about Chaminade. Okay, there's a team that we can maybe talk about as far as a private school that wins it completely every single. I know I'm going off the topic here, but but anyway,
the floor is yours.
But I guess I get tired of the whole private public thing. I just play the teams that's in front of you. Shut up and beat them. And that's the thing that gets me. Get better.
The thing that bothers me is the private schools are already punished. They're already given the multiplier where they have to play up a class. Yeah. Now, it's in the smaller classes I can see where you got a Valley or something like that they actually don't go up a class. It's not but it's to me it's not a big deal. I think people make more of a. They just like making excuses for why we lost to this team or why we lost to this team, or hey, Saxony they may come in looking pretty good. Saxony's going to be one of the favorites. I've got to get them out. Let's get them out. And
that's not the case. I'm not as far as that goes, but anyway, sorry. Yeah, Saxony, they're a very good team.
They are.
They're a very good team. I look for them to make a run in that Class 3 in their district, but getting them away from Charleston in that district, I think is going to help them, obviously, and show down out of that district. I think they're the Woodland and Saxony are the favorites in that district for my money.
Yeah, and I think Saxony, to me is a clear favorite. They're going to be playing in the Carbondale Christmas Tournament. We'll talk about that in our next show. Yeah. But we're going to see what they're made of in that tournament. We'll see what they have, and they said, fine, Bloomfield, you want to take us? We're going to go over here to Carbondale. We're going to play even better team.
They'll get better. They got a lot of great competition over there. That's a nice tournament over there, and New Madrid is in it as well, and it's just a team that you want some competition, you're going to get it there for sure. As some of you may have heard, the Sikeston community lost one of its best in Bob Depro, and I know around here he's going to be greatly missed by a lot of people, and he's just a giant for this community, and I know Jenks has a few things to say, and for this week's segment of The Last Word, Mr. Jenks talks about Mr. Bob Depro.
On Monday, the Sikeston community lost one of the truly great ones around here, in Mr. Bob Depro. Mr. Depro, he was 72 years old, and he served as the PA announcer for the basketball program for over 50 years, and he also did wrestling and football as well. But he was, I think, most known for his announcing basketball and his call every time someone hit a three-pointer. After his passing, you look on social media and you see how many lives that he touched just by his just by the person he was. Not only did he call basketball games, he was also a teacher in the Sikeston community for over 30 years. He was a part-time teacher at Southeast, and you can't find one person that has ever said a bad thing about him as a teacher. But he was more than that. I mean, he meant more than that to the community as well. He served on the school board. He served on the city council and numerous boards like the library board, the DAOC board, and many, many, many others. Nobody bled Sikeston red more than Bob Depro. He would give money, give his time, and there was not a bigger Bulldog fan out there, and he's someone who will be sorely missed. I can remember I started my first basketball games. I started covering in '98, and I remember him distinctly, with his basketball calls and his so and so for three, and I can't even remotely come close to doing it. But it's something that will be missed. On Friday night, they're going to honor him before the varsity game at the Sikeston, between the Sikeston Bulldogs and the Notre Dame Bulldogs. I hope everybody will come out and be a part of that. They're going to have a video, and I'm not sure what else they're going to do. I kind of hope that they keep the seat empty for a night and just don't have an announcer, because the first time that someone calls out a 3-point sign, that'll be or 3-point call. It'll be a very, very sad time. But Mr. Depro, you will be missed, and prayers to his family and friends from all of us here at The Last Word and the Standard Democrat. Thank you.